Straight ahead on CCX News, a different perspective on local city council races.
I am sick to death of both political parties.
Traditionally, council races have been nonpartisan, but we'll explain why that's not always the case. Plus, they wear blue and orange, but see why Cooper athletes will also be wearing teal. And later, a Brooklyn Park man who has found a niche that's getting others hooked too. CCX News starts right now. We're exactly 47 days away from the fall election. Not only are there congressional and state races impacting the Northwest Metro, there are a handful of local races getting attention as well. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Delane Cleveland. Local races tend to be nonpartisan, but it depends on the candidate. The issue of whether to bring political parties into the equation generated some passionate responses at a recent candidate forum.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Park City Council Mayoral Forum.
On September 13th, a collection of candidates for mayor and city council gathered at Brooklyn Park City Hall.
All viable candidates have been invited to participate this evening.
Each of these candidates are running for positions that are considered nonpartisan. And technically speaking, local government is about service delivery. Think of issues like street repairs. But just because the mayor and council members don't have partisan labels, some still run as partisan candidates.
I did accept the DFL endorsement for a city council seat. I don't think that by not taking an endorsement that our core values go away.
And candidates at the forum had a variety of opinions on the issue.
I have been endorsed by the Republican Party in the past. I currently consider myself politically independent. And the reason is, I am sick to death of both political parties.
For more perspective, we turned to Hamline University political scientist David Schultz.
In theory and in law, we are nonpartisan at the local level, but effectively most of the races, or many of the races in Minnesota, really do have a significant partisan streak through them.
Schultz says the hope was that by taking politics out of local government, voters would turn out who don't necessarily think in a partisan way. But Schultz doesn't think that occurs anymore.
We live in such a polarized political environment nationally, we know, that's kind of trickling its way down to the local level, that I do think increasingly people do look at the partisan affiliation and ask, is this person a Democrat or a Republican?
Schultz said people might ask that question because there's a fundamental difference depending on what party you support and how to provide certain local government services. Take, for instance, an issue like trash collection.
Should we turn the garbage collection over perhaps to private haulers or have the city do it?
We'll find out how Brooklyn Park voters think come November.
I would challenge people, look behind the curtain and see who's actually funding what for all of us behind here.
David Schultz thinks for this election, most people are going to vote straight party lines, so it will be a matter of how well each of the parties mobilize their bases to come out and vote. Well, starting Friday, early voting begins in Hennepin County. You can vote early in person at city halls across Hennepin County. You can also request an absentee ballot by mail and by visiting the Minnesota Secretary of State's website. Absentee ballots must be received on or before Election Day, November 6th. Now to an issue that extends across the Twin Cities, including here in the northwest suburbs. How to alleviate an affordable housing crunch. Affordable housing advocates offered a bus tour Tuesday night to highlight the need for housing that is affordable for all stages and ages of life. The tour gave people the chance to see firsthand what affordable housing projects look like and meet the people that live there. Developers were also there to provide information on how such projects get built.
They are in the black every year because we're 100% full. And we've got other, what I call high-risk, high-reward developments that aren't always high-reward developments. But the affordable housing is steady, where you can count on being 100% full. And if you build a good product and manage it right, it's going to be a good investment for you.
Duffy says developers try to build affordable housing projects where there is access to public transportation and a large amount of employment opportunities. Well, traffic headaches, at least those caused by construction, are now gone for drivers who use Highway 169. All lanes of Highway 169 have reopened. The project started last April. It included rebuilding bridges and realigning the highway in northern Champlin. It also involved concrete repair work down to Highway 610 in Brooklyn Park. Hennepin County Library patrons have something to celebrate. After more than a year of construction, a $7 million renovation of the Ridgedale Library is now complete. Improvements include technology upgrades, more natural light, and enhanced spaces for children and teens. A grand reopening for the library takes place on Monday. Well, still ahead on CCX News, why Cooper athletes are wearing more than just orange and navy blue. Plus, it's a showdown between two of the state's best volleyball teams as Champlin Park takes on Lakeville North. But first, our descent into wet, chilly fall weather continues. The high on Friday might not even reach 60. Cooper Hawks might bleed orange and blue, but all this month they are wearing a little bit of teal too. September is National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and student athletes at Cooper High School are once again wearing teal laces to support the cause for the 8th year in a row. This cause has special significance for Cooper athletes because an athletic director named Barb Lehman passed away in 2010 from ovarian cancer.
And we've since then named our stadium after her. She's done a lot for us. So our athletes wear teal laces to support the cause in the month of September.
The Tie It Teal campaign extends to student groups like the marching band, cheer squad, and dance team, all wearing teal laces this month. Well, there are many talents to this week's standout student. Gabriella Munger is athletic, artistic, and academically successful. And as Sonia Goins reports, this Providence Academy senior has a passion for uplifting others.
I really like all my classes.
Gabriella Munger has a love for learning. She's a National Honor Society member, student council leader, and she's passionate about biology. This summer, she went on a research trip to Costa Rica.
We got to research ants in the wild and see all these different species of animals there that we're not used to, so that was really cool.
She even got to choose her own experiment.
The authentic research experience, coming up with a hypothesis and testing it and analyzing the data.
The antibiotic.
Yvonne Bolt went on that trip with Gabby. She's also taught the seniors several advanced biology classes.
She's good at applying what she's learned in new situations, and that makes her particularly skillful when it comes to science and doing scientific research experiments.
Gabby also stays active. She participates on the school's trap shooting team.
I'm decent. I wouldn't call myself good.
And you might say Gabby dances to a beat of her own.
You'll catch me during class tapping out a rhythm or a cadence, which I'm sure is really annoying.
She's in the pep and jazz bands, and she's also an accomplished pianist.
There's a lot of crossover, actually. I think my piano experience makes percussion a lot easier.
Passion and determination are what drive Gabby to be successful.
You can't devote that much time to things that you don't enjoy doing and don't have a passion for.
But faith is her foundation.
We start every class with a prayer. We go to Mass once a week, and there's always opportunities where I can go to the chapel for a little bit and just like recenter myself. I think without that, I would be totally frazzled.
For Standout student, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Still ahead, a Brooklyn Park man who got the attention of Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer. But first, the Maple Grove girls soccer team aims to continue its winning ways as they face Minneapolis Washburn. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. It's about as good as it gets for a regular season showdown. Champlin Park entered Tuesday night ranked #1 in Class 3A volleyball. Their unbeaten record included an early tournament win over Lakeville North, the defending state champions. The #3 Panthers welcomed the Rebels to their court for a great match. Set 1 Izzy Ashburn to Hannah Prasky are hit down for a Rebels point. But the Panthers win a close set. Elizabeth Junkie hammering the overpass. They win set 1 25-22. 22. Sammy Hilly with a big kill in set 2 for Champlin Park. Lakeville North pulls out another close one though, and it's 25-22 Panthers again. The Rebels fight back. Lauren Clark rips it for a kill in set 3. And then on set point, Caitlin Weimerskirch gets the ace for a 25-23 Champlin Park win. Set 4, perfect set for Tori Thompson. She crushes it there for Lakeville North. Jordan Stalpitz gets hot for CP. And then Stalpitz puts down the cross-court kill. The Rebels win 25-20 to force a 5th set. Clark will put down a big hit in the final set, but the Rebels play from behind the whole way. And on match point, Champlin Park called for a violation, and Champlin Park loses. Lakeville North takes the 5th set 15-10, and the Rebels lose for the first time this season. 1 year after their first trip to the state tournament, the Maple Grove girls soccer team is gaining steam. The Crimson had won 5 straight after a pair of losses early in the season. They played host to Minneapolis Washburn Tuesday. Maple Grove generates a chance here as Kelly Klontz passes to Mia Omar, but her shot hits the crossbar. The follow-up try goes wide of the net, and a near miss there for the Crimson. Washburn's Emily Kalpus drives the free kick that skips off a Crimson player. And that's in for a goal, and the Millers grab a 1-0 lead. Manon McMahon gets behind the defense. Her first try is saved, but she'll put the rebound away. Game is tied up 1-1 at halftime. Second half, LJ Kolodge sends the pass that the Washburn D tries to control. McMahon will muscle her way in, but too much traffic there to get a good shot on goal on the Millers. Maddie Rada will set up Brenna Saladin for a chance, but her shot right at a Washburn goalkeeper, Claire Daggett, and remains tied 1-1 through regulation. The Crimson get a chance off a long free kick in overtime, but it fizzles. This team's battle a 1-1 tie. Maple Grove will host Armstrong Thursday, and a match you can watch live on CCX1 at approximately 7 p.m., weather permitting. With their shutout of Osseo on Tuesday, the Champlin Park girls soccer team is now 8-1, the best start to a season in school history. On this week's Sports Jam Spotlight, we meet the Rebels' top scorer, senior Alex Lotz. Lotz is acknowledged as the fastest player on the Rebels team, but she's certainly not the tallest. At 5'3", Alex says her small stature actually works to her advantage.
I can jump pretty high, so when I do get up there, I feel like I have a good winning the ball. And then also, I also like being the height I am, just because I feel like I can wedge my way into these tall people and kind of throw my hips and my butt into them and make them feel like, wow, this girl is small, but she's stronger than what I thought, and yeah, we'll put you on your butt.
She's all about the speed, and then she'll even go in there with her arms, sometimes not illegally, obviously, but like she'll get aggressive, and you don't expect that from her because of how small she is, but she's a really great player.
Alex worked this summer on getting better at finishing around the net to score more goals.
Park, there's lots. Nice little touch pass. A shot away and a goal.
She also improved as a passer. Now you can see the rest of that story and more this week on Sports Jam. It airs Wednesday night at 6:30 and 9:30 p.m. and Thursday morning at 9:30. And you can watch it anytime online at ccxmedia.org. That is all for sports today. Delane, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. In Local Vote 2018, we look at House District 40A, which covers most of Brooklyn Park. 2 years ago, DFLer Michael Nelson ran uncontested. This time, he has a challenger. Here are candidate statements for Nelson and his Republican challenger, David True.
Hello, I'm Michael Nelson, and it has been my privilege and honor to serve you in the Minnesota legislature. I grew up in Brooklyn Center, graduating from Park Center High School and Hennepin Technical College. My wife and I chose to raise our 3 sons in Brooklyn Park. As a longtime resident from a working family, I understand the challenges facing our families, our community, and our state. If re-elected, I will continue to work to balance our state's budget in a responsible manner that protects our students, seniors, and working families. Our children and grandchildren need the opportunity to attend quality public schools and receive a quality education. I look forward to talking to you on the campaign trail, and I ask for your vote on November 6th.
Hello, I am David True. I am seeking your vote on November 6th for State Representative 40A. I have decided to run for State Representative because a few years ago, my pastor challenged me to get involved. So I have actively volunteered at my church and served on the PTO board at my children's school. And today I am the 7th grade coach for my son's football team. As a representative from Brooklyn Park, I believe there are issues facing our community and other cities as well that are being disregarded. I would pass policies to spur growth, reduce taxes, decrease overregulations that can cripple a business, and focus on our K-12 educational needs. Please visit my website for more information, trueforhouse.com. Thank you and have a great day.
Up next, meet a Brooklyn Park man who knows how to reel them in. Finally, a Brooklyn Park man who had the idea to turn fishing poles into profit. Here's Eric Nelson.
Every year since we've been in business, we've doubled in business. And actually this year we're on track to do better than that.
This is a fishtail that is actually true.
We're sending rods to the East Coast, we're sending rods to Canada, we've sent rods to Sweden. This is kind of the beginning here. This is our showroom.
The story of Tuned Up Custom Rods began in 2010 with humble beginnings in a basement.
This is kind of where it all starts here. All of our rods we design ourselves.
Today, it's a thriving business.
The big boys are picking us up. So we've got Shield Sporting Goods. We're actually in 22 of their stores across the country, from Sandy, Utah, all the way up into the ice belt up here.
Tuned Up Custom Rods was started by Brooklyn Park's Adam Audette.
On the bottom of every single rod, we'll then stamp the logo on there.
And his brother-in-law, John Burback.
My brother-in-law and I were car guys. You know, when you think of your car being tuned up, it's running at peak performance.
Now located in Coon Rapids, the company has carved out a successful niche, designing handmade fishing poles.
You can come in and get a rod that's uniquely made for you in the way that you fish, and down the road you go. It's not just like picking one off the shelf.
Their clients can be someone who wants to fly fish in the Rockies.
Just got finished up with about 4 fly rods that were sent out to Montana.
Or pursue fish on a frozen Minnesota lake.
There's something about the pride of making something special for somebody that's going to enjoy this fishing rod and enjoy that sport for a long time. We like to do it right.
We're going to catch this other team off guard.
Let's go.
Okay.
Audette is also a youth football coach for the undefeated Brooklyn Park Pirates.
All right, gentlemen, let's go!
He believes fishing and football should be a positive experience.
Let's be real. We're talking about football here, which is a game. We're talking about fishing, which is a recreation. It should be fun.
Audette clearly had fun last week as he reeled in a big catch in Egan.
I had the opportunity to actually go down and hand deliver them to Coach himself.
He hand delivered some fishing poles to Minnesota Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer, and the coach was hooked.
And had a lot of questions, was curious about the rods, smiling like a kid on Christmas with these high-end fishing rods in his hand.
Business is so good these days that Tuned Up Custom Rods is also moving plenty of apparel with their name and logo on it. In Coon Rapids, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
All right, thank you, Eric. That's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us. We will see you back here again tomorrow at 4.